Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to be talking about advocating for ourselves. And this goes for anyone, but specifically in this video, I want to talk to the ladies. This is for all women, okay? I want to talk about advocating for ourselves, specifically in medical settings, okay? Especially when we are in a vulnerable state, us or our children, okay? Advocating for yourself is very important for anyone, like I said, but I don't feel like it's talked about enough. The things that happen to women in hospitals, the things that nurses do, the things that doctors do, and I'm talking about tactics that they use, bullying, fear. All of these are tactics because any medical setting profits off of us. Anything we do in a hospital setting, whether we go to the urgent care, whether we go to the ER, whether we're in the hospital to give birth, all of it is about money. Okay? We make them money. They profit off of us. And we need a chat. We need a chat, ladies. We need to be more aware of the tactics that these people use against us. And for example, let's talk about when we're in labor, going throughout our whole pregnancy from beginning to end. They will try to bully you into anything. They'll try to scare you into anything. You need to get this vaccine because it does A, B, and C. You've never heard of it, but they're like, don't worry about it. Oh, it just does this. Don't worry about it. Here, sign. And they'll try to shove the paper in your face. Like, here, sign this. Don't worry about it. They don't explain it to you. And even if they do explain it to you, it's not really an explanation. It's more of a redirection to get you thinking about something else while they push the paper in front of you and get you to sign it. And I hate that. I freaking hate that. And we need to talk more about being able to say no, because saying no in a medical setting is a complete sentence. And we need to tell whoever needs to hear this that we are the ones that they make money off of. Any medical setting, a hospital, urgent care, all of that is profit for them. They make money off of us. So we need to understand. I'm not saying you need to learn everything there is to know about a hospital and you need to know what you can do for yourself. So say for instance, you are going through a pregnancy. I'll use myself as an example. In 2020, my husband and I decided we wanted to have another baby. And when that's the case, the first thing that I do specifically for myself is I will go and get a physical. And I'm talking about a full physical, gyno, and blood tests, whatever blood tests need to be done, That's the first thing that I do. And so I went and had that done. Boom, I'm pregnant. So I find a new gynecologist and I'm thinking, this lady seems nice. I met her once before, felt comfortable with her, went back. And so at this point, I'm pregnant. Obviously, they have to do a blood test to confirm your pregnancy. So I do the blood test. And 2 days later, I get a frantic call from a nurse from that doctor's office. And she's like, oh my gosh, we just got your test results and A, B, and C is going on. We need you to come in immediately. You need to get this vaccine. You need to get this injection immediately or it could harm the baby. It could harm your pregnancy. And I'm freaking out. I can't even, she sounds like it's crazy. And I'm like, what could possibly be happening that they are telling me I need to come in right now? She was like, as soon as possible. We have room for you. You can come in this afternoon. And it took forever just to get that one appointment. So I'm just like, wow, you can see me this afternoon. This never happened, this is crazy. This must be serious. But I'm thinking to myself, what could it be? I feel like I'm a rather healthy woman, healthy individual. So I'm racking my brain. What could it be? What could it be? And so I'm asking this girl that's on the phone with me, and her sense of urgency is freaking me out. Okay. I'm like, I don't know what to do. What should I, what's the vaccine for? What is it that I have? What's going on? And she was like, you can discuss that with your doctor. And you need to discuss it with your partner. I said, excuse me? And she was like, you need to discuss it with your partner, but we do need you to come in. Can you come in today? And so I was like, let me give you guys a call back. And she was like, okay, we'll hold the spot for you, which never, you don't hear any doctor's office say no shit like that. Period. Holding a spot for you will keep that appointment for you. Never, never. So I get off the phone and I pull my husband aside. I'm like, hey, the doctor's office just called. They said they got my blood test and they said they need to see me urgently. They found something in my blood or in my blood test that is harmful for the pregnancy. I need to go in and get some sort of vaccine ASAP. And clearly, if you know where I'm going with this, you know what they're alluding to. So I'm having this conversation with my husband. It's a hard conversation to have because you're both looking at each other like, how? Like, what? That's crazy. And so we're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then my husband goes, stop. Ask them to retest. And I was like, oh, I like literally I was taken aback. I was like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to ask them to retest me. So I give them a call back and I tell the girl, I can't come in today, but I can come in tomorrow. She was like, okay, sure. Yep, we have this appointment open, this appointment open. I said, okay, I'll come in tomorrow morning. Already, I'm like, they never, ever, ever just give away appointments like that. So it already felt strange, but it was the sense of urgency in her voice that was like, oh my God, da. So I go in, right? The next day I go in and they call me back and the nurse is standing in the room with this tray ready to inject me, like ready to go. And I tell her, no, thank you. I said, I would actually like to be retested. And she looked so confused. And I said, no, I don't want to take the vaccine. I said, can I please be retested? She goes, oh, okay. I'm going to have to go and speak with the doctor. I said, okay, that's fine. So the doctor comes in and she was like, so you want to be retested? Very cold, very like annoyed at me. And I said, yes. And she said, fine. So the nurse goes out, takes the tray with her, comes back in, takes my blood. Okay. So then it's the next week. I call and I'm like, hey, I'm waiting for the results of my test. I go in and they're like, oh, so it looks like your blood sample and someone else's blood sample got mixed up in the lab. Huh? What? Yeah, so basically that's what happened. And I was like, okay. And I said, so everything's fine? And she was like, well, I want to do a more in-depth test. I said, okay. I said, well, what did the blood test say? I said, was it okay? And she was like, everything seems to be okay, but like I said, I want to do a more in-depth test. And I was like, okay. Let me just say I also had my husband with me because I was like, nah. I want you to come with me. So we're both looking at each other. She walks out. We're both looking at each other like, dang, why is she talking to me like that? You know, and we both already, now we're on edge. We're like, this feels weird. And so she does like a more in-depth test. If you're a woman, you know what that more in-depth means. We go back. I'm just hop, skipping, and jumping through it. All that to say, it was negative for what they were telling me was positive. I'm 100% completely healthy. And so now we're at home. And my husband looks at me and he was like, what do you think they were trying to inject you with? I said, you know what? That's crazy. What do you think they were trying to do? So we start doing our research. At this point, we're already like, no, we're not going back. It wasn't right. It's not gonna be good for us to go back there. Like something was up. Okay. We started doing our research because I was like, man, maybe hospitals isn't the place for us. Maybe that's not, what God intended for me. And so I started looking into natural birth. I started looking into other alternatives, like, deep dive. We both start doing a deep dive. And did you know that they are purposely trying to sterilize women. A lot of people don't know that. Till this day, they are trying to sterilize women. We need to know how to advocate for ourselves, okay? This was my first time, my husband and I's first time really needing to advocate for ourselves. Like, this has never happened to us before. It's, you know, in a medical setting, them trying to push something on us, and we were like, whoa, this feels weird. Hold on a minute, you know, like trying to rush me into a situation without giving me any real details, only for us to give a little pushback and find out what we found out. Okay, all that to say is that women, we can say no. We can say, hold on, I don't know what that is. I don't know what you're saying. Can you please explain it to me? The best thing you can do, this is another thing I learned, ask for a printout of everything they're saying you need to take, or your child needs to take, or what vaccines they're saying that you need. Ask for a printout so you have proof of that. Anything they give you to sign, read it thoroughly. Take your time and read it. They're going to keep coming in and interrupting you because they don't want you to read the whole thing. Take your time. Even if they're standing there, they'll stand in there sometimes. They'll stand in there. I've had that happen too. They'll stand in there and hover over you. Do you have any questions? They'll keep interrupting. Can I help you with anything? Can I take that from you? Say no. I need a minute. I'm going to read through this and then I'll let you know. And if you don't feel comfortable, don't sign it. Do not sign it. If you have a feeling in your gut, or if something is like, feels gross, don't sign it. If you broke your leg and they're like, okay, well, I need you to take this, this, and this. And you're like, oh, I've never heard of that. What's that? They're like, don't worry about it. It's for pain. It's going to help with the inflammation. Here you go. Can you sign this so we can have it sent to your pharmacy? And without thinking, most people would just be like, all right, and just sign it. You literally do not know what you're signing. You need to read. You have to read it. Another thing that happened to me with my second pregnancy, my son was huge. Okay, I'm not that big of a person, but I was 8.5 months pregnant and my baby was big. They knew he was big from, early on. So at this point, I'm in so much pain. I go to the ER. I'm like, please, can I get any help? Can I be induced? What can I do? This is before I knew anything I know now about natural birth and inductions and all that stuff. I think I was like 21 when I had him, 21, 22. I'm in their emergency room. They're like, there's nothing we can do. We just have to wait for you to go into labor. I'm in so much pain. It feels like my pelvis is breaking in half. I can't sit, I can't stand, I can't lay. So I go home. I'm like, God, this is so unbearable. So I go back. Same thing happens. They tell me all the same stuff. They send me home. They're about to send me home. And then a doctor comes in and he's like, okay, what we can do is give you some Percocet. We'll give you a couple Percocet to help get you through the rest of the week. And hopefully by then you'll go into labor naturally. I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm just like, oh my God, yes, I need help. I need something to help me with the pain, right? I sign the paper. I pick up my prescription at the pharmacy on the way out of the hospital. I get home and I'm like, Percocet. I don't know why that word, it just kept popping into my head. I didn't take anything. I was like, it's so weird. Like, what? Percocet. I've heard of that before. And so I just did a quick Google on my phone and I was like, freaking Percocet is a narcotic. You want me to take that while I'm 8.5 months pregnant? I said, wow, I literally just signed a paper for some painkillers that you're not even supposed to take while you're pregnant. This doctor came in the room and told me, we're going to give you some narcotics to take away your pain. Like, what if I had taken that pregnant with my son? Furthermore, after that, what if I got addicted to it? That is a narcotic that's highly addictive. Man, listen. In these settings, we need to be calm. Be calm. Don't let them frazzle you because they will try to bully you. I swear they will try to bully you. And past pediatricians have tried to bully me into giving my kids this and giving my kids that, and they need this for that, and I got to a point where I was so frustrated because I voiced my opinion. I'm like, no, I don't want them to have that. No. Well, 73% of kids are ending up hospitalized from last flu season. You're trying to scare me. You're trying to scare me into giving my kids something that I don't feel comfortable giving them. Well, it's best for the child. It's just my professional opinion. Your opinion can go where the sun don't shine, okay? My intuition is what's telling me what's right. We have to be able to advocate for ourselves. And this is so important. I feel like this is so important because it's scary. It is scary, the things that they will do. My first pregnancy, I was 17 years old in the hospital. I couldn't advocate for myself because I'm underage. So I have my parents sitting on this side of me, the doctor on this side of me, and they're both talking over me, talking about, we're going to do this. Okay, this is the plan, and we're going to do this, and then she's going to need this, and we're going to do the epidural, and we're going to da-da-da-da-da. I'm just laying there going back and forth. No one's explaining anything to me. My parents just signing away. Oh, we need you to sign this for this. Signed it. We need you to sign this for this. Signed it. I'm just laying there basically, just an experiment, just a paycheck basically. When you get an epidural, that goes straight to them. Any kind of medication, anything, everything is profit. They don't truly care about you. I'm not saying all doctors, I'm not saying all nurses, I'm not saying all places, but most places are driven by profit. Especially now in this day and age where nurses are overworked, places are short-staffed, I'm sorry to say, but you have to be even more vigilant because some of them just don't be caring. They don't be caring. They don't care about you. You're just a person in the room. They don't know you. They don't care about you. They don't have your best interest at heart, It's okay to say no if something doesn't feel right, We want to give you this pain. The side effect is going to be bleeding out your ass. And they're like, but this is the best one for you. They keep pushing you. But if you don't take this one, well, then this is going to happen. Your left arm's going to fall off. So it's up to you. And then they do that. Well, it's up to you. It's your choice. But we think that you should sign it. Here, sign this. That's what they do. That's the tactics. And it's disgusting. And I hate it. I hate it so much. So I don't know. This was on my heart today, and I just felt like I needed to talk to all the ladies and just let you guys know that no is a full sentence, especially in a medical setting. If you don't feel comfortable, say no. Also, did you know that you can just leave the hospital or whatever medical setting you're in? You can leave if you don't want to go through with the treatment, if you don't like the plan of action, if you don't like the way they're treating you, if you don't like the way they're talking to you, you can leave. They cannot stop you from leaving. If you're in there and you're, I don't know, something's going on and they're like, well, we're going to need you to do this. Here, sign this paper and we'll get started on it right now. If you don't feel like that is the best plan of action for you and that this medication isn't right for you, leave. Literally, you can get up and walk out and you don't have to explain shit to anyone. If you start walking out the door and they're like, oh, ma'am, we needed, did you sign that paper or did you this, did you that? You don't have to say nothing. You can say, I'm leaving and walk out the door. You can always leave. If you are in a hospital, if you are in labor and the nurses aren't treating you right and the doctor's not listening to you, I know it's crazy to think if you're early on in your labor. If you're farther in your labor, I understand that it could be like, where else can I go? What else can I do? You can always leave. You do not have to do shit that they tell you. If you want to have a natural labor and they're pushing an induction on you, if they're pushing an epidural on you, but you're voicing, I want to do this naturally, they cannot make you do anything. You can have that baby naturally. You can move around the room if you want to. You do not have to stay strapped to the bed. And if they are treating you that way, You can always go elsewhere. I know that sounds scary, but you can. They cannot force you to do anything at all. So just, anyways, there's too many stories, too many. Anyways, just really take the time to listen when you're in these appointments, when you're at these doctor's offices, when they're shoving papers at you, sign this, do this, do that. Just really just take that second. Do not let them push you into anything. Okay, that's all I have. Love you guys.